Welcome to Mart's Garage.
I'm going to start looking at the floorboards, the front floorboards. Now, I went online and I found some drawings. So what I think I'm going to do is get some plywood and start working my way towards making up some floorboards. I haven't fully thought it through, so when I make my mind up what I'm going to do, I'll come back and show you what I've been doing. Actually, the first thing I need to do, can you see down there, there's a bolt, look. That one there, that needs to come out. I'm looking at the holes. And there's one over there actually, on the other side. In the next bolt hole up from this one. There's also something there I need to take care of. I'll show you it. Can you see there's like a tear there, look. So what I want to do is get this, straighten it, clamp it together and weld it. So I suppose by talking about the floorboards, I've actually turned my attention to this area, and I have highlighted a couple of things that I need to do. So maybe I'll start by doing those things. And can you see there, look, there's a bolt that's broken off there. So that's my next little job then. Take the seats out so I've got plenty of room, weld that tear there, and then take out these broken bolts. And that's bothering me more and more now I look at it. So something is badly out of shape, isn't it? Let's see what happens when I pull that straight. Okay. I'll bring it back when there's more to show. Hello again. Right. I've welded that. I managed to get it lined up and I've welded it. I might give it another bead down on the inside actually. It looks like I can see the metal there. I've very nearly got it aligned correctly. It's not far off. I was looking to get it in shape actually. It's sort of, it was a long way twisted out of line. I warmed that screw up and out it came. It actually came out quite easily. And I warmed that remnant of a screw, and I grabbed hold of the end that was sticking down and I wound it out downwards and it came out, that one there, sorry. And that one down there, I warmed that up, and apart from setting light to the tape that's underneath the body, that one came out easily as well, so that was good. So all those screws are out. And I also put a little bit of weld there. There was a little fatigue crack there. I've welded it on the other side. So what I might do is put another little bit of weld there on the inside. I didn't really actually use any filler rod. I just fused the metal, and I did the same there. I'm probably going to have a break now and have a cup of tea. I always say that, don't I? Look, there's the coil there, look, for a 4-cylinder. Still got some of the screws there, look, for the insulation that goes on the firewall. Amazingly, I mean, this black paint here is original. I think is that where they put the cowl lights or something on a deluxe. What I can't get my head around is how they do this welding here. See how the cowl is welded there? I think they just resistance welded them with a, you know, massive machine. Just hold the panels together and put current through them and let them fuse together. Amazing, really. This body has actually never been off that firewall. There's a rubber seal somewhere. I just leant in with the torch and put a little bit of weld on. I had to put some filler in on that bit there at the bottom because I kind of burnt it away a bit, but judging by the shape of that radius, I'm not very far out on that now. And that I just welded that up as well. I've said it before and I'll just repeat it now for anybody that might not have caught what I said, but this vehicle didn't have a lot of rust, but it had a lot of fatigue. It must have been used virtually all of its working life on very rough roads. Time for a break then. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Can you see that I've clamped a piece of tubing there, look, along that edge? Well, do you remember how this piece here was folded down? Let's see if I can show underneath. Well, there's the flange, and I've been hammering it. Can you see that there's no bend there? That was vertically down. Well, what I'm trying to do is hammer this up here as a start. Hammer this part up here. But I'm going to try and reinstate that flange because I'm beginning to work on the floorboards. I might just try and get that middle sort of 2-inch bit there. Well, I can't point with my hand. That middle 2-inch part there, level here. Maybe just use a clamp or something, squeeze it up. Okay, I've had a good bash at it with a hammer and squeezed it with a clamp up to that piece of tubing, and then kind of pulled it with some vice grips. And to be honest, with this section here in what looks like the right place, that section there in what looks like the right place, I feel inclined to leave it alone, because that bit there is very, very stretched. I can't get rid of that. That piece there likewise is very seriously stretched, so I'm just going to leave that. I've knocked that down a little bit. I might give it another little tap, little tappy tap. That will allow the plywood to lie down flat. I'm going to sort of say I've done my best there to reinstate that more or less how it should be. I have a paper pattern for the floorboard. I've also took the lid off the gearbox so that I've got a flat area to work with. I will put something over that though. So I'm going to check to see how well the paper patterns fit, and if they look like they're okay, I think I'm going to try and copy them into plywood. And like I say, I'm not much of a woodworker and I've only got a very limited range of tools, both in my actual physically tools and in my sort of arsenal of knowledge as well, if you know what I mean. All you can do is your best, isn't it? So I'm going to do my best to try and make a floorboard. Hello, I've got my paper pattern there and I've drawn out the shape of the floorboard onto this piece of plywood here. But while it's in one piece, I'm going to see if I can do this scalloping out that needs to be done in this area here and there. So I've got the instructions off the original drawing, or a drawing from some original parts, and I'm going to try and make it work. This area needs to be out to 1/4 of an inch, down 1/4 of an inch, as does that there, and that's 932, and that's a square edge and that's a radius, and these are square edges and that's supposed to be a radius. I don't have much in the way of woodworking tools, so this could get messy. Okay, let me have a go anyway, see what I can do. What's the worst that can happen is I can ruin a piece of plywood, okay, that I was given for nothing. Okay, that's my first attempt, and what I did, I put a 1/4 inch cut up there, I put a 1/4 inch cut up there, like that, put a 1/4 inch cut up there, then I got the saw in and I've shoved it sideways like that, just kind of took out that wood there. But it was important that the saw was able to span the base metal, the base wood here. So I'm going to give it a go there now. So you can see it's quite effective actually. Got to do another one there. Hello. Right, I've just done some more wood butchery, and although this looks a right mess, it's a series of depth cuts like this. Oh, and I did that one there as well. 3/16, 1/16, a quarter, an eighth, a 16th, a quarter, and 5/16. So there's quite a lot of different cuts there, and I've repeated the same on this side as well. So I think I'm ready to try and cut the board out now, and then cut the shape for the gearbox, and then drill some holes. Oh, and there's some other clearance holes, but once I've cut this out now, I can at least drop it in place and see how it fits. So fingers crossed. I must say my saw's making some funny noises. Might be time to get a new one. Anyway, hey ho. Okay, sorry I didn't show it when I cut it out, but I've cut it out and thrown it in, and it almost fits. I need to sand a little bit on the sides here. Actually, I think this side's not too bad. Hang on. Tripping hazard. I think I want to sand it here. I think I needed to come in a little bit sharper there. Still, that's not bad. That's not bad at all, really. Okay, let me sand that there then, and it'll move over a little bit. And I think I need to maybe recut this piece here. But first, sort of throw it in there and have a look. I think that's okay. And it seems to be sitting down. I've just looked though, and I did make a mistake on some of the dimensions, but it's obviously not hypercritical. You know, where I cut those depths, there was one area that shouldn't have had anything cut out, and I cut some out. I mean, they're just clearances, I suppose, aren't they, along there? And it just fits down on the flange. As long as it fits on the flange, cutting a bit too much out in one place doesn't really matter. I think that's pretty good. I was glad to have found those drawings online. I'm quite pleased with my progress today, even though it was only a short session. Okay, I'll do a bit of sanding and I'll bring you back. Okay, I've done a little bit of sanding, and it fits quite nice actually. It fits really good. I think much better than I would have done if I hadn't had a decent drawing to go, you know, to work from. Still don't have any of the right type of screws yet to hold it down. I'm going to modify some 6mm screws, turn them down and put the right size threads on. I've done a test and it worked, but it does fit and it looks okay. Look, I've done a trial fit of the dashboard, the dash. These screws arrived today, and so I thought, okay, I'll test fit the dash. These screws are hard to find in the UK. They're a 1224 thread, number 12, 24 TPI UNC thread. So I thought, oh, I'll put a tap through all the holes before I try and put the screws in. And anyway, I had a visit from Mr. Bozo. I started the tap in there with the tap holder on it, and I thought, oh, I'll put some oil on it. So I thought, oh, well, I don't want to get my hands dirty, I'll put some gloves on. So and the gloves, which are over there, so I thought I'll get through here and I'll pull this and snap the tap. Brand new tap that I had to buy because it's such an unusual thread. So anyway, I've ended up, I did put a little square on it and finish the job, but luckily it broke at the tap holder end rather than the threaded end. But yeah, okay, kind of got away with it. So what I did, I've put it in this little 1/4 inch chuck, and I've just used that to run it through all the holes. Interestingly, there's spacers behind it which are missing in some of them, so I need to make up some spacers, but that's another job for another day. The primary job, the job that I was working on yesterday, is this floorboard. So what I wanted to do is to locate the positions for the screws. I have dimensions, but I'd rather try and position them from the from the screws in the floorboards. So what I did, I laid it down in place, and I reached underneath and I screwed the tap up through the hole into, you know, so it made a mark in the wood, and I did it there as well, and on the other side, and then I've drilled them there. That's good. And there's where the big bolt is at the front as well, so I'm going to make a hole there as well. Hopefully I can find it both sides. What I just did, I just put my paper pattern out over the piece, got my tap, just to use it as a bodger, and just went there like that, and went there like that. And I got this big drill, put a clearance there and a clearance there, and I've just laid the paper pattern out again, and I've just used this to put a mark there and there. So I'm going to use the drill again. But what I wanted to just show was that when I made the paper pattern, I cut holes in it, but left paper in place strategically to stop it all falling apart. Like there's a bridge piece there and a bridge piece there, but there's enough to get the position of where the cuts need to be made, you know, and you can mark off where you need to cut to. So this paper pattern has worked really well. So there's my mark there. And there's one here as well. You might not be able to see this one. These are just to give clearance over bolt heads and rivet heads, and there's supposed to be some more here. So what I'll do, I'll lay it in place and see if there's a witness mark from a bolt or a rivet head. As far as I can tell, that's kind of done really, other than drilling these bigger and putting the proper bolts in, which I haven't got yet. But I can see daylight through the holes, so they are in the correct places. And it seems to be clear in the middle there, so it's not fouling anything in there in the middle here where I drilled those clearance things. Okay, good, right, okay, I'm pleased with that. Oh, I need to do one in the middle. Oops. There's my mark, nice clear mark. I'll go and drill that then. Hello, right, so I've just dropped the board in place. And what I've just done is I've drilled that hole and the one opposite over there, oversize, and this screw and that screw, the only two screws I've got that are correct to go in there. They're two that came out of the toe board area, so I've just put those two screws in to kind of put it in place. I am quite happy with that now. That's pretty good, I'd say. What I think I'm going to do is turn my attention to the other piece, which again I have a paper pattern for that, but I have a little bit of doubt because one or two of the dimensions didn't quite stack up. So I'm going to probably do it a little bit oversized and then trim it. Another little thing off the list then. Okay, let's start having a look at that other floorboard there then. Okay, I'll bring you back when I've got something to show you. Okay, cheers, see you in a bit. I'm trying to see why the floorboard don't quite sit down. Well, it's fouling on the motor there, isn't it, on the bell housing in there. I don't know if you can see that right in there. It's pretty close here, to be honest. Let me have a look on the other side. This board is a hell of a lot harder to make than the other one. You got that beveled edge there, and I've really struggled to do that. I haven't got the woodworking tools. I really struggle to get that. It's not far off, is it, to be honest? Yeah, I think if I take a bit more from the very central part of where I've done that cutout. I haven't showed that yet, I think, actually. Okay, I'll get that piece of wood out and I'll show you where I've modified it. That feels like it's fitting in a bit better, to be honest, so I'll have a look on the other side now. Might have to do a bit of sanding or something and I've had to cut it down there, of course, for the steering column, because it's F1, it's not standard, is it? I'm covered in sawdust. Okay, see, that still doesn't look like it's clear there, so I might take a bit more out at the top and a bit more in that midsection. It's getting there though. Yeah, I think I need to take more. I went a bit deeper in the middle and I went a bit further higher. Yeah, so that's actually looks like it is virtually down here now. Okay, right. I did some sanding on that corner over there, so that it fit down a bit more, and now it fits in place. It fits that shape of that top sort of recessed area bit, you know, that shape there, and it fits over here okay. And this piece I've just wedged it in and it has gone in. So I think with just a little bit more detail sanding here and there and checking for clearance on the back of the bell housing, I think it's, you know, I'm kind of 90% there now, 99% there. Yeah, that looks clear now. It does look clear. I might need to just do a little bit more. And what I'll do, I'll sort of put everything in place and then bump it around with a mallet or a lump of wood and a hammer and see if any witness marks appear on this side, so I know where to make a bit more clearance, because I want to be able to put the cover on the inspection cover as well. But it's very close, isn't it? It is nestling in place where it should be, which is good. Okay, right, good. I'm going to call it a day at that then. I'm going to let the dust settle, as they say. I'll come back another day and I'll bring you back and we'll have another session. Thanks for joining me in the garage then. Bye.